Would you spend another year? Ladies and gentlemen, Julian Richings! Julian Richings, first of all, one of my favorite intros we do for any actor, Julian Richings. He literally has the best actual, and maybe one of the only, theme songs from the show. You know, he has his own song.
Well, you know, it's really weird. I just hear this wow, 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 wow coming out of your
That's what he said.
microphone.
That is actually what he said.
What I said was,
wide.
wah, 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 wah.
I'm just going to nod and go, yeah, but it could be dangerous.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of this wonderful man is his left hand. No, I'm kidding. Is that he comes out on stage and he tries to do the jump, and he has traditionally missed the timing so badly that there have been times where he'll come out and we're just playing the song and he ends it by jumping like,
Yeah. So there have been times where you go, oh, damn, then he comes out and jumps.
Thanks, Rob, for translating.
I tried.
The wow, wow, wow.
I was whispering in his ear. It's like, when you come out on stage.
But you can hear Rob, but you can't hear me?
No, I'm whispering in his ear. I was saying in his ear. Because if you take this out, you really can't hear what we're saying up here.
What?
Wah, 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 wah,
Right.
You're talking gibberish. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian Richings.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I can't hear ya. Hello. Oh, it's so good to be here. Hello, hello, hello. Wow, it's such a wide and echoey space. Echo, 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 echo. I seriously couldn't hear a thing Rich was saying. So speak clearly and enunciate when you ask me some penetrating questions. Okay? Otherwise I'll be going, what? Sorry? Could you repeat that? And then the problem is, when you're polite like me, after about 3 times of going, what? You just go, yeah. And it's like when you ask instructions, you know, when you're asking instructions, you wind the window down and you're in a car. Say, excuse me, do you know the way to Main Street? And they go, take a left here, take a right, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm so busy performing listening and going, okay, thank you. Don't listen to a thing. Anyway. Hello! Woo! I got lots of walking ahead of me in this next panel. Yes, like a vast stadium, a vast echoey space. The new frontier. Okay, well, so this is my first time in, how do I say it? New Orleans? No. New Orleans. No. New Orleans. Nolans? I'm terrible. Okay, come here. Tell me. Come on, I'm gonna get a lesson in pronunciation.
New Orleans.
It's an honor to be here in New Orleans. Thank you. I hate it when people. So I live in Toronto, right? And everybody says it wrong. If you're from Toronto, you go Toronto. So it's important to say it right. Thank you. But it's great to be here. Thank you. So I arrived last night. My plane got delayed. And unfortunately, I came in the dark. So I couldn't really see everything. And then I arrived at the airport. And then I was saying to the folks in my panel earlier. It's Q&A. In my Q&A earlier. That I got picked up, not by a limousine as normal, by this huge bus. Like it's New Orleans. No. Lost it already. Terrible. I'm sorry. But it's a kind of a standard tourist bus, right? For party goers with seats all around it, all sideways, a bar, neon lights and stuff. And it's little old me in my overnight bag. Hello, I'm here. And help yourself. So go in, and then I get motion sickness if I turn the wrong way. And you know these really elegant limos, they all face the wrong way, all the seats face the wrong way. So you sit there like this, and you put your face forward like this, and then you get a stiff neck because you're doing this all the time. Anyway, I decided to sit, there was one seat at the back, this tiny little seat facing front. And I could see way down the bus, there was an open window, and I could see the windshield, and I could see the traffic out there. And that was my first view of New Orleans. And I'm looking out there, and he says, how you doing back there? I was fine, fine. And then we got onto the highway, and then the highway's pretty bumpy. And I'm this little skinny guy at the back of this huge bus that's built for a bunch of people. And so I'm there literally going, ka-doing, ka-doing, like this. So I arrived at the hotel. And I've never been to a hotel where you don't arrive in the lobby, but you arrive in sort of like the drive-in bit. And then you get an elevator up to the lobby. It was very fancy. It was very fancy. And so it was a strange introduction to the city. But then at night I went out, and I went into the French Quarter, and I had, with my pals in the cast and the band, we had gator, and we had fried catfish, po' boy, bread pudding, which is the best bread pudding ever. What else? Oh, hush puppies. I thought a hush puppy was a kind of shoe. I really did. They were like a suede shoe in the 60s. They still are? Okay, good. Because I was a bit worried about eating shoes. All right, so I said this, and people didn't know what I was talking about. I put it down to being old and a little out of touch. But anyway, but I had a hush puppy, like that. I like the hush puppy. Oh, and a bit of gumbo. As you can probably tell, death and my character aren't very far removed. It's a benefit for me to be flown into a film set and sort of go, yeah, I don't care what the scene is. What am I eating today? Ah! Oh, it's all right. I just knocked some water bottles flying. Oh, thank you. Oh, no, it's alive. Stay there. Props department. I'm having too much fun. I hope you can hear me. All I can hear is this big echoey Julian going, wow, wow, wow. You can hear me okay? Yeah? Well, all right. So it really is a thrill to be here. I'm going to start answering questions, and then I'll keep talking and chatting away to you. I sort of, whenever I answer questions, I do so as a friend and as a family member, because it's an honor for me to be here doing this, but also it's kind of fun to just sort of tell stories about who we are and what we do. And so forgive me if sometimes my answers aren't as brief as they should be, or as knowledgeable as they should be. Some people are a little bit appalled when they'll ask me a leading question about, a fact about supernatural. I go, what? They're a bit disappointed. So anyway, that's all part of the joy of being a character actor in part of a wonderful big universe. So, without further ado, I think you're going to be my first person. Okay. Hello.
Hi. My question would be, what was your favorite scene to film of all your scenes, either because it was a lot of fun or because it was really challenging or very emotional or for whatever reason? What was the most fun you had?
I guess the most emotional one was when I died. And I can't bring myself to talk about that. So I'll choose another one. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I've had fun fun doing all of them. I think that, and people have asked me this before, I'm lucky. I've been in a bunch of scenes that are all really well written and well constructed, and they often have a sort of a tag to them that's more than just the scene. There's always something else going on. But, you know, really the most dramatic impact on my life was that first episode, and there were two amazing scenes in that. The intro, Death's intro, which is pretty cool, and the pizza scene, and the pizza scene afterwards, because those kind of, I guess, not because I enjoyed them more than the others, but those went a long way to defining my character. And I thought they introduced a lot of elements that we were able to build on after that. So those kind of are the favorites. What people don't know is what was really going on in my brain, because I was new to the show. I didn't know much about the show. And, you know, here am I having to make this big arrival. Here he is, the most powerful being in the universe. Ooh, you know, and all that, you know. Ooh, that was good, wasn't it? Eat your heart out, Gil McKinney. I can sing. Ooh, death. Wow. You're good, Julian. Thank you. Oh, dear. Yes. There I was. Right, sorry. You're encouraging me by laughing. And it's very naughty. I start saying silly things and doing things and forgetting where I am. I was describing to you arriving on set for the scene where I'm the most powerful being in the universe. And they say, that's fine, you just have to drive that car there. And it's this enormous, it's the biggest car I've ever seen in the world, you know. And then I get into it and it's old and it drives like a boat. And I've told folks this before, that, you know, it's all very well saying, just go over there and hit your mark. There's a little X on the sidewalk where you do it, and you get in and you go. So anyway, I will have very fond memories of that scene. And I think that's the one that most people refer to. And if ever I meet people in the street, a lot of people will often go to me, or hide or something. So I think that's the one that I have most in common. Wow. I try not to take as long answering every other question, otherwise we'll be here all night. Sorry, Jared, Jensen, you can't come on stage. Julian's still finishing question number 4 from Friday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to the next one. Thank you. Good question. Here we go. All right. Hello.
Hi. So my question is, why do you think they made Death the way he is compared to the other 3 horsemen? Because the other 3 were more like villains, but you were not really a villain.
Oh, great. That's a great question. So I wasn't really a villain. I think that's a really, really good question. And I look at that too as an actor. I don't ever do a part thinking, oh, I'm a bad guy, so I'm going to be a bad guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because you're not supposed to laugh. You're supposed to be frightened. I just did that, and I hear like hysterical laughter coming. God, don't be my agent. Yeah, he's very convincing. Yeah, no, only joking. So, I really though, I think when you play a character, you try and understand the character. You don't try and sort of go, okay, so he's a bad guy, or he's a tough guy, or he's the most powerful being in the universe. You don't play those things. You have to play something else, right? And what was the gift for me was that with that montage, it established me as being very strong, right? The opening sequence. So I didn't have to work very hard at being all-powerful. I didn't have to sort of... I look like I got constipation. Sorry. That wasn't very good. But you know what I mean, anyway. So I didn't have to do that, and I had Jensen working with me, and he was really generous, and he was acting scared, so I didn't have to do that. But what I did was that I simply played how enjoyable the food was and how delightful it was. And so I focused on that, and in many ways that made it creepier and more sinister by doing that, right? So it's always about, like, not really hitting the nail on the head, but going around the side a bit. So I think that's very important too, with roles in society too. On a serious note, like, I think, you know, who's good and who's bad? I think we're all human and we're all flawed. And I think it's our job to pull out the elements of different people, the primary colors. I'm a character actor, so I will often play a very distinctive character, or not somebody that's going to carry the bulk of the story, but somebody that is contributing to the plot, or adding a dimension to things. So it's my job to really come in and do that, and not sort of limit the universe, but to expand it and challenge the types that we play. We're not just, you know, even if we're an intimidating presence, we might have a generosity or a love for, in my case, like an uncle's kind of love for Dean. I think those are important, right? So there you go. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Hello.
Hello. I recently saw Dave versus Death, where you also played Death.
Yes.
And it was a very similar version, and that was filmed first. So I was wondering if you immediately decided to copy that because it worked for both roles, or if you went through a few more personas first.
No, it's weird. So there's this weird coincidence. You know how sometimes things just happen altogether. So this guy making a short film asked me to play a character called Death, and then I got the role in Supernatural. And so here I was playing within a period of, I don't know, 3 months or 4 months or something, basically playing the same role. Death in Supernatural is a whole different thing. He is a character with an arc and a story, and a context with the boys, with his care, his love of food. Dave versus Death, the short that I'm in, is much more of a sort of a sketch. And it's an extended joke about the relationships of other people in the movie. It's sort of a series of gags. So it's a much cleaner, clearer take. But, you know, I look like I look, and you dress me up in a suit, and you give me certain lines, and I'm going to look similar. So it's one of those weird coincidences that here I am in two different things, looking similar and playing a similar kind of presence. I'm fortunate being a character actor in that a lot of the time I'll be very wildly different kinds of textures and types of people, but in this case it was weird to have the two right there, especially with something as resonant as Supernatural, as Death in Supernatural. So there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. So I was wondering if conventions have affected your life in any way? And if they did, how?
Has creation of it? Well, yes, it has. And I'm going to sound very, very sort of cheesy and schmaltzy, but I've really grown to love and cherish conventions and the opportunity they give us to meet as a family.
Aww.
And I say that, and I'm not just being, like, sentimental. I say that in a time in which our media, our forms of entertainment is changing. We no longer just watch network TV. We don't just, you know, turn into the same show every week. We have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, we have different ways of seeing things. We have social media. We have an incredibly active and articulate fan base in Supernatural fans. So Supernatural fans are giving feedback to the writers and the producers. So it's this new age where I'm so privileged to be a part of the cutting edge of it. Because I think that what we have going as a band of Supernatural followers, family, is that we sort of are ahead of the curve. There's no one quite like us, right? And that's great. Now, when you try to put the genie, you know, to get the genie and decide what the genie is and put it in the bottle, it no longer, it loses its magic. It is magic. It's continuing to be magic. I don't think that there's a given formula. I think it's a very happy circumstance of a lot of things. There are conventions for other shows. There are Comic-Cons. There are all kinds of things. But I think this is different. And I think it would be wrong to lump in supernatural cons with everything else that's happening, although it is certainly a part of a changing landscape. So yeah, it's remarkable. I can't believe it. Like, for instance, we had a Q&A today, and there was a bunch of people around the table, and no one was from here. Everybody had come from different places to meet people who they regarded as family. You know what I mean? They were coming to see the city and to also see their friends and family that they've met in different places over the years. So that's a very special community. And it's very exciting to be part of it. Okay. Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, this is really scary. My question is, have you fully accepted the fact that you're kind of this legendary, iconic figure of death, like new and proved? I'm pretty sure if you Google death, like a photo of you will come up. Like, have you accepted that?
Well, my new publicist. My agent will see you afterwards. New, iconic. What else? What other words?
Legendary.
Ooh, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Wonderful, epic.
Amazing. No, well, thank you. I don't know what to say, really. I think that there's a lot of things come into play. I think it's being in the right place at the right time, with the right show, being the right age. And I can only say that it feels like a good fit for me, because I don't feel I'm putting on a big act. It's a sort of what I'm being asked to do is something that's more an extension of who I am. So I don't feel it's a big stretch. I think that by being slightly otherly, I come from a different continent, but I've been in North America for a long time. So I'm sort of a little bit different, and I'm a little bit older than the boys, and I don't know, it seems to work. And so I'm very happy. I realize it's interesting. When people describe me and my work, it's very hard to really listen to it sometimes. It's hard sometimes to hear praise as much as it is criticism, because you just do what you do. If I was a plumber, or if I was a teacher, or whatever, you get on with your job and you do your job, and then there are times when you think, that was a good day's work, and there are other times when, you know, it's not so good. So you just do what you do, and I'm the same. I do the work that I do, but this is very different. There are a few roles that I've played I've been acting professionally for 40 years, so there's been a few roles over the years that I go, I really got something there, or that really felt right. I was at the right place, or the right age, or I was able to channel something that was inside of me into that role, and certainly this role is one of them. And there's been others along the way too. So anyway, it's thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
Hi. So why did Death have such a sympathy for the boys in the manner of like Sam's wall and then lending him the ring? And then how did that kind of change when, you know, Dean took you out?
Like, it's such a sensitivity, did you say?
Huh?
Did you say why does he have such a sensitivity?
No, like a sympathy for them. Yeah,
like a care.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because the acoustics are so weird here. It's hard to hear through the echo. Well, it comes down to the writing, which is very well constructed, and the actors. Like, they're great guys, right? And if they're in a scene with me and they play with me. You know, that's the nature of who they are and what they do. They're good actors and they're generous. So it's hard not to play with them and to have an affection. It's like musicians, you know, you see musicians jamming on a stage, and you know when musicians are having fun, and there's a chemistry and a spark, and you know when it's kind of, well, it's good, but it just doesn't catch fire. Well, I'm lucky with the script that I was given and the way that Jensen and Jared are, and Misha too, who I have some scenes with. There's a kind of a nice chemistry there. So it's not surprising that there's a warmth, and with the way that the scripts that are written, there's a kind of, like I said it before, a kind of a paternal affection, like an uncle that wants to scold them and tell them off, but doesn't, you know. So there's that element to it, and there's a sort of a cheekiness about the food, the idea that, and then Dean eventually starts to bring food to death, and said, "Would you like some of this?" You know, so I think that's funny. So I like that. So there you go. That's shortest answer so far.
Thank you.
Nothing to do with your question, but anyway, thank you. Thanks. Hello.
Hi. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you've been asked this question multiple times before. Are you as much a foodie as your character, and what's your go-to snack?
Am I as what as my character?
A foodie. You know, you love
food. Oh, a foodie.
You love food.
I love it. Although I always think of the word foodie as people that are really into cuisine. And, you know, like I went to a restaurant. Oh, you have to go to the so-and-so restaurant. They're the biggest. I like chips. I like beer. I like, what else do I like? Pancakes. I have very plain tastes. So yes, I mean, I consider myself a foodie, but I know a lot of people would be appalled at my diet. So it's one of those weird intersections of fiction and fact with my character, is that I actually do love pizza. I've never had fried dickle. Every time I open my mouth, some fool speaks. I've never had fried dill pickle chips.
They're amazing.
Say that fast 10 times. Fried dill chicken. Fried dill. Anyway, you get the idea. I've never had those. But and this is going out live too. Sorry, Mum. I didn't mean it. Yes. What else? Pizza. But hot dogs. And Mexican food too, which is kind of different for me. Grew up in a cold climate, damp climate. Then I came to a cold climate, so I'm not really used to the whole spices of Mexican food, but really like it. And I like the whole. The thing about Mexican food too is that it's very filling and it's very tasty. That's what I like. Cheese, lots of cheese. Yes, so I'm very happy.
Okay.
And that's why last night, I was in heaven. Po' boys. You see, I didn't know that a po' boy was like what I call a submarine. Yeah. I thought it was something a bit different. So when they brought this thing in bread, it was fried catfish. You know, and very sophisticated. When I had that, I was surprised. Anyway, it was delightful.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, right, next.
Hi.
Hello.
I was wondering, now that Jack has created an alternative universe, could death actually be resurrected?
I hope so. Letters, emails. Dear supernatural producers, Julian Richings looks hungry and sad. He's in need of a job. I didn't say that, actually. Shh. No, yeah, I hope so. I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't know what the story arcs of the entire seasons are. And, you know, again, being realistic, I'm a character actor, and I bring to the show a very particular kind of element. And I sometimes move the plot forward, or I introduce a new idea, or I close an idea. And that's very cool, but I don't have a clear idea about me and Death's role. I know he's present, so there's no reason why he in my form couldn't come back, or I could come back in a different form. But I hope I do. Yeah. Hey. No. So anyway, thank you for asking. I don't know, but hopefully see you on the screen soon. Okay.
How betrayed do you think Death was to be killed with his own sickle? And if he comes back in the coming seasons, what do you think's in trouble or in line for Dean?
So when I come back, what am I going to...
So, yeah, what are you going to do when he comes, if you come back? What do you think you're going to do to him?
Well, let's improvise a little scene, shall we?
Let's do it.
So I think it would be something like, there'll be, like, the show will start, and there'll be a picture of Dean looking all disgustingly handsome and fit, and sort of walking, maybe jogging, bare chest, jogging along. And he's jogging over a hill, and then what else? Oh, yeah, then he comes down the hill, and there's this decrepit old guy down the bottom of the hill down there. And he's been a nice guy, goes to see if the old guy's okay. And he goes down, and he looks at the old guy, and as he goes past, the old guy puts his foot out, and Dean goes, boom, like this. And then Death gets up and goes, remember me? That's my scene, on the spur of the moment.
That's perfect.
I invite you to write your own and send them to the producers. Oh dear, they'll never employ me this way. Okay, all right, hello.
Hi there. As an actor, how much of your own personality do you put into your characters? And do you draw a line somewhere to keep yourself separate from the roles you play?
Right, it's a great question. I mean, I think different actors have different philosophy. If you ask different ones, they would say different things, right? I can't separate me, who I am, to the performances that I do. Because ultimately, they're an extension of me. I mean, they might be a focus, I might get certain details and really zero in on one aspect of my personality, or think about a particular thing and then go there. But it's inevitably going to be through the medium of me and my body and my accent, my looks. So it's hard to, I think the process really, even the moment you look at a script, you kind of are looking at things, you're getting triggers that go straight to your head, and they're yours. They're impulses, right? And for an actor, an impulse is critical. And if you're acting with an impulse and it's genuine, I think people like it. Like, you get it. It's when things are a bit secondhand or a bit manufactured, you can kind of smell it a bit. You know what I mean? You watch performances and you go, wow, he's good. He's really working hard, but he's not as tough as he makes out, or he's not as evil as it, So I think you have to kind of find a way to harness yourself, sometimes to pull yourself in, like me with Death. As you can see, I'm an expressive person, and I'm pretty white. I'm a very elegant, erudite person. No, but there's a part of me that would like to be. But, there's certain things you have to sort of hone down and find another aspect of yourself. But it's definitely there in a part of me. And the instincts that I used, the whole thing about food, right? I mean, that's seriously close to my approach to eating junk food. So there you go. It's a great question, and it's an interesting one, because I'm sure you would never get the same answer from any actor. And actually, to be honest with you, I think I'd probably give you a different answer for different characters. There are some times when I'll read a part, and I'll go and do a movie. I'll parachute in, and I'll do 2 days or 3 days on a big budget feature or something. And I know that I'm being expected to play a type. And it's harder for me to honestly find every moment, find the truth of an inner reality. You know, it's hard because you know that you've got like 10 lines and you've just got to do a certain thing. So there are times like that where I just have to be as efficient and believable as possible and grounded. But I know that it's not going to be my finest performance, right? But then it doesn't need to be because it's part of a bigger thing. Thanks. Great question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi there. I actually have a question for you as an actor. I've been following your career past the point of Supernatural, and I've seen you in a fair few horror and thriller movies. I was just wondering if you got your start as an actor in that space, or if you just naturally gravitated towards those roles, and how that plays out in the roles that you take now.
Thank you. I'm going to try and be quick. I've been told that we've only got a short period of time, so I want to see everybody. So I'll just give you a quick thing. So my introduction was theater. I'm a theater actor. I grew up in the theater. I did a lot of small shows that gave me the ability to kind of expand my art, if you like. It sounds very pretentious, but like understand who I am, what my instrument is. If I were a musician, it would be like practice, right? It would be figuring out who you are, what you're doing. So and theater allows you to do a lot of different stuff. It's not such a realistic medium. You can be a little guy playing a big guy. You can do all kinds of different things that the surface reality of film and television doesn't allow. So I've had a chance to do all those things and kind of figure out my muscles, and inevitably, as I said earlier, that you start to hone in on certain things, and it seems to have become my thing, is that I've become this very specific guy with a particular energy. Let's call it an energy, not necessarily the same role, but the same kind of energy. The energy that I have naturally, that's kind of a bit uncontrolled and a bit crazy, I harness it and I try and invest it in the show that I'm doing. Okay, thank you. I'm just going to go as quick as I can. Hello.
Hello. So my question actually had to do with pickled chips, but you answered it already. So I would just want to know, on the list of favorite characters that you have played, where does Death rate? Also, Death is my favorite character, and I love you.
Where does he rate? Right up there. He's one of my favorites. Continues to be, like way up. And there's a couple of others. There's another character that I played one time. He was it's funny that he should walk on stage this moment. He was a rock star. I've played rock stars, you know. I believe it. Yeah, I sort of played like this Keith Richards sort of guy, like this, and that was one of my I was just being asked what one of my favorite kind of roles was, you know. That's good. Yeah. It's instantly believable, wasn't it? Yeah. You've seen my guitar playing. That's it. It involves a big jump and a flail. Hey, folks, I'm sorry. I love you all. I'm going to come and give you a hug over here.
He's going to hug you.
Going to hug.
You're getting hugged by Death.
Sorry, I didn't get over to see you.
He's going to hug you to death. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a trained professional. Thank you. In drama, not comedy. Oh, my God, now they're married.
Hello, I'm just showing you how popular I am.
He's going to be at karaoke tonight, and so are you. Julian Richings! Boys. There he goes. You gotta stop. Hold on. For me, because these are the things that bring me joy, I want us to do it in Julian timing. So whenever he jumps, that's it. It's like musical chairs, only it's musical death. Here we go.
Am I going now? No.
On his own. Perfect. He gets it.
Bye-bye, everybody. I think I better get out of here. Bye. See ya.
Kids. You know what? Death does the darndest things. Robbie? Lots of what we do here at conventions is fun, but there's also games.
There's games, yeah.
Games that matter. Games that resonate. Games that separate the people who get it from the people who don't. It's a simple answer. It's either yes or it's no. That's all it is, kids.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
Yes,
a real-time filler.
A real-time filler. The yes-no game.
And now your host, Stephanie Design.
Stephanie Design.
Who wants to win some gift certificates?
That was awesome. Who wants to win some paper with no real value except in our gift shop? That was awesome. It's like the coal mines.
This is one cup of coffee.
All right, Stephanie, there she is.
Thank you. All right, if you've not played this game before, we're going to play 3 rounds. You're going to get a yes card, and then you're going to come up and get a no card. It's very easy. All of the questions, the answers are yes or no. If you want to play,